we'll go ahead and begin. Just stay seated for a few seconds here. Alrighty. So I was asked, if I prepare for my classes, and yes, I do. And this class is actually, I'm calling this class Create Your Yoga. Create Your Yoga. And it's a little bit of an insight of how I put my classes together, when I teach. One of my go-tos is actually this book. It's called The Yoga Bible. And it's falling apart because I've had it for years. And what I like about it is that it has, it's thick and full of yoga postures. Some that are pretty basic or ones that we are familiar with that we do all the time, like Warrior II and things like that. But then there's some other ones. There's like, I just turned it open to, full arm balance or handstand, okay? So it tells you, what the pose is, what it is in Sanskrit, what are some poses you can do to help prepare for a handstand, okay? And so I really like that component of this book because it's like, oh, if I wanted to teach, a handstand, it gives me a little breakdown of here's some poses you may want to teach to get your students ready, or what you want to practice yourself to get to get ready to do the handstand. And once I've done that, sometimes I'll just kind of flip through and really randomly just kind of open up the book and like here's Camel Pose, which is just a back bend. I was like, okay, well that's a good posture, and that might be my featured pose, and that will be something that we're as a class we're working towards. And so in my head, I'm just thinking, so what are the components of this particular back bend, and think about all those elements and components and kind of put them together in a flow and in a practice. And so that's what we do. That's what I do when I teach a lot of my classes with you guys. So we're going to be doing that today with just some really direct focus on that, so you get some insight of how I prepare for my classes, but also maybe even think about, how do I prepare for things? Or how do I kind of structure an outline of getting something done? Am I a list maker? Can I just hold it in my head? Can make things flow? Am I more random and spontaneous, or do I need solid bullet points to check off? It's like, how do you do things? One of the things that I like to do, some of you know that I like to do, I like to bake. And baking is kind of a science. And I like to follow recipes. And so you have to, if you're baking, you've got to have, the exact or relatively exact amounts of flour and sugar and all those things. So those elements combine and you have a nice finished product. You can't just kind of willy-nilly, well, I'll just make this kind of sweet or not so sweet, or what would happen if I put turmeric in it, might be a good cake, but, and so I really function well with having, a recipe, kind of a list of here's step 1, step 2, step 3, break it down. And I think that kind of works into how I put a class together. So with that being said, the pose that we are going to do, and it's something that I did pull from the Yoga Bible, and it is called Half Bound Lotus Twist. Half Bound Lotus Twist, okay? And there's a lot of components to that particular posture, alrighty? So we are going to get right to it. Let's start at Mountain Pose. For the folks at home, you're going to need some props. I'm going to suggest maybe a blanket and a block and a strap, something that resembles a strap. It could be a jump rope, a belt, anything like that. So you'll need those props for your practice today. So let's start in Mountain Pose, and we'll just take a few moments as we prepare. Like with anything, we like to create a strong foundation for ourselves, kind of a starting point. And for yoga, we start in Mountain Pose for our Power Vinyasa practice. Just feeling rooted and connected to the earth. Once you've made this connection, just start to connect to breath. Another very important element in our recipe of yoga today, creating your yoga. Focusing on your breath. Perhaps just slow, steady breaths in and out. As you breathe in, perhaps feeling the breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. As you exhale, we're drawing navel inward towards spine. A light contraction of your abdominal muscles. Nice engagement, connecting. Good. Breath. Again, an inhale to feel breath rising, again, filling up your lungs, opening up the heart space. You might even feel a little bit more length in your spines, standing a little taller. Exhaling. An action of drawing navel inward towards spine, the abdominal lock. Go ahead and just take 3 more breaths like this. When you're ready to move, inhale and extend your arms out and up, reaching into the air. Good, a nice stretch. And exhale, we'll fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and just make your way downward towards your toes. And inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or your knees and extend your spine, really rising up halfway. A nice long, flat back. Then exhale, let's fold again. Make your way back down towards toes. As we're here, I'll just mention that as we create our yoga, as we create your yoga, it's a reminder that this is your practice. Yes, I'm going to give you kind of the elements, the recipes for this particular posture that we're working towards, but you're welcome to embellish, meaning listen to your body, pay attention to what's going on, and if you need to modify or do something slightly different, or even come out of a pose for any reason, honor that, okay? Another spinal extension, just slide your hands up to your shins or knees, lifting up halfway as you inhale, just parallel to the floor. Exhale, let's go back down. And maybe you're touching your toes, but you don't have to touch your toes. And here, just noticing sensation in the body, lengthening through your hamstrings, releasing all the way down through your back. You might even check in with your head and neck. And we often hold our heads up. Okay, if you can, while in forward fold, let it go loose. You might just nod your head a few times and maybe shake your head a few times. Then from here, just go ahead and weight shift back into your heels. Bend your knees. Feel like you're going to sit down into a low chair. Look forward to help extend spine. We'll extend the arms out to the side, yes, and we'll stand up, reach high, get nice and tall. Exhale, go ahead and bring your arms down by your side. You can certainly bring hands to heart center. Just pause here and take a breath or two and move right away into our sun salutation. Again, just going at your own pace. Modify as you need to. Rest when you need to. Here we go. Inhale, reaching into the air. Nice lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, let's fold forward. Take your time. Strong legs, strong core system to help support your movement. Inhale, rise up halfway. Feel the crown of your head lead you forward. On this exhale, we're folding, getting low enough, which means you might bend your knees more, let your back round, and bring your hands to the mat so you can step both feet back to the back end of your mat and just draw a straight line through the spine, throughout the entire body. Breathe in. Then exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips up into the air, our shortcut to downward facing dog. We do this the first time usually in our practice. You can certainly do this every time we go through that part of the Vinyasa. You're welcome to hold in stillness or pedal the feet here, pressing one heel down, then the other, so you feel perhaps a lengthening or stretch sensation in your calves, maybe your toes, even through the whole underside of your foot. And come back to stillness, taking a nice full breath in, filling up your lungs. Exhale, connect to core center, bend your knees so you can walk, step, or even hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Stay there. And we'll inhale, rise up halfway. We'll call it monkey pose. Exhale to fold. A weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive, coming all the way up. We're going to keep this moving, reaching high. On the exhale, take chair pose or a chair-like position. Now for chair pose, you can keep it up high, a high seat, or you might sit down lower into a seat if you'd like. We're going to breathe in, nice extended arms. Exhale, dive out of the seat, forward fold. Inhale, rising halfway, or just feel the fully extended spine. Exhale, fold and bend. Again, getting low enough to place hands on the mat. Walk, step, or even jump both feet back into plank pose. Strong straight line, breathe in. This exhale, you can finish the push-up coming down to Chaturanga Dandasana. You can always take that shortcut again right away into down dog. If you're going through that full vinyasa, there's Chaturanga. Inhale to an upward facing dog or cobra pose, just a back bend, and exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to continue from here in downward facing. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. We're going to hold it for a moment. Just reach, really extend like you're trying to reach and touch the wall behind you. Stay there and bend your right knee. Bring your heel down towards your backside with a bit of a lift of your knee up towards the ceiling so you create a bit of a twist or rotation in the spine. It opens the hip. We're going to add one more sensation here. Imagine you've got like a marker on your knee. You're going to draw a big circle in the air with the knee. Okay, big circle if you can. So your knee might drop down, and then circle and go back up and around, and maybe both directions if you can. Just really getting into that hip socket there. Nice. Just a couple times and just finish at the top. Once you're there, breathing in, we're going to exhale to unwind the pose and step right foot to the top of the mat, right away to a warrior one. Once you've landed, turn left heel to the floor behind you and feel the body shift back so there's more weight and pressure in that back foot. And then elongate your torso out over your thigh. We're going to inhale, rise up to a warrior one. Holding for just a couple seconds in warrior one, just by reaching high and lunging low. So it feels like we're moving in two directions, up and down. Take another breath in. You're going to exhale and turn your torso towards the left side of the room. Bring your arms down to parallel. Perfect. Yeah, you might want to adjust the feet underneath you so you feel balanced in this wide stance here. We're going to relax the arms for a moment, okay, just so your arms don't tire out. So you can pay attention to your left foot, okay, your back foot, okay. So when we're in mountain pose, of course, everything's just kind of straight up and down, right? But in the lunge, okay, we're at this interesting angle, okay. We want to feel the outside edge of the left foot, kind of really press into the floor at this angled sensation in the ankle, okay? And because some of the work that we're doing today is going to involve our feet, okay? Just want to make sure we're getting limber ankles, okay? So this is a pose that we don't really pay attention to as far as what's happening to that back foot. And now our front leg, we have the right knee bending. Knee and toes are pointing directly forward. Okay, let's go ahead and re-extend the arms parallel to the floor. Take this to side angle, so reach forward, angled upper body like so, then rotate your arms here. So right arm might be straight and based or braced against the inner right leg, and left hand reaching into the air. Good. Yes, you can stay up high if you want to, like I am, okay, where your hand is not even close to touching the ground, or you might be low enough where your hand touches the floor, or maybe you've brought in a stack of blocks right there. Stay there, but you're going to bring your left hand down behind you, just to your low back, okay? Just to your low back. Let it rest there. If that doesn't feel great on the shoulder, you can just place left hand on left hip. Couple more breaths. Okay, nice opening for the front body. We've got a hip opener happening as well. Let's inhale, re-extend the left hand up into the air towards the ceiling, left hand, and turn on the exhale, fold and bend, hands to the mat. Let's slide the right foot back, plank pose. The shortcut to down dog is fine, or finish that push-up. Coming down, maybe a low back bend like cobra pose if you want, and downward facing dog. Good. And when you're ready, we'll do the other side. So an inhale to extend left leg up, reach, and hold on the exhale, and just experience the body getting longer. Okay, as the foot's reaching to that back wall, your hands are just pressing more firmly into the ground. Let's open the hip by bending the left knee, a little lift of the knee, and that opens the hip. A little twist in the spine. And again, we're just going to draw that big circle in the air with the knee. Couple times one direction, and then try the other direction. Just getting into that hip socket, loosening up the hips a bit. Finishing at the top here, going to inhale. Exhale, unwind and step through. So left foot to the top of the mat, right heel will turn to the floor. Once again, shifting weight into that back foot. Nice straight spine and long torso out over the left thigh. Yes, go ahead and rise up, reaching into the air. We'll pause here for a moment. Reach high, lunge low. Might even experience an opening in the right hip flexor here. We're going to inhale. Exhale, turn torso towards the right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Take a moment to adjust your feet. And we do the exact same thing. Go ahead and rest the arms for a moment. Let's pay attention to that right foot. Outside edge of the foot, just a little extra press into the floor. It actually fires up this back leg. You want to feel like your outer thigh is like actually moving in that same direction towards the back end of your mat, okay? So this is strong here, okay? As well as a well-planted foot. Tall torso, let's go ahead and re-extend the arms. Let's reach out over this left knee, angled upper body, rotate the arms, reach high, reach low, respectively, okay? Again, you can stay up high where your hand, okay, or even arm could also be resting lightly on the thigh, that's fine. Or fingertips might be just gracing or grazing the floor there. Good, let's bring the right arm or hand down behind you, perhaps to low back. Again, if that doesn't feel great on the shoulder today, you can just place right hand on right hip, or even just rest the arm down at your side. Okay? Again, just using these variations of our poses as a way to suit your practice, creating your yoga. Let's go ahead and inhale, re-extend the right arm up into the air. We'll exhale to turn, fold, bend, bring your hands down to the mat, slide your left foot back to meet the other. Finish your sequence as you'd like. We'll finish or meet together in downward facing dog. Good job. Yeah, there's our back bends and downward facing. Nice re-extension of spine. Good. Let's bring knees to the floor gently. Okay. We're going to sit back in hero pose. Okay. Now here's a way that you can sit in hero. Okay. If you can, we're lengthening the tops of the feet. Okay. We have a student in class that's doing one thing that you can do is, pad your knees. Okay. Just get on something soft. Even pad the whole leg here. Another thing you can do is take a big pillow or even roll up a blanket like so and tuck it underneath the knees here, okay, just so there's less pressure perhaps on the tops of the feet. We're doing that on purpose, again, kind of getting into the ankles of the feet. Just a couple more breaths, okay? And after that second breath, we'll get out of that, just slide off to the side, swing the legs around to the front here, sit in the center of your mat, and go ahead and roll down onto your back. Go ahead and bring knees into chest. Here, feel free to move around. If you want to give your back a little massage, you maybe just create some rocking sensations in any format here. And since your feet are free, let's go back to the feet and ankles. Here's some things you can do. Circle them one direction, then the other direction. Flex your feet, point your toes. Okay, again, just getting some nice mobility through the joints, okay, in the lower half of the legs. Now we'll go ahead and set the feet onto the floor, knees bent, preparing for bridge pose. Once planted in place, we'll inhale, fill up the lungs. Exhale, engage your core. Just feel the air leave your body. Engaging here and lifting hips up into the air. If you're able, you can rock your upper body left and right a little bit to get your arms and shoulders a bit underneath you, okay? For a little extra support, especially in the upper body. Bend your elbows, bend your arms so they're at 90 degrees, and press your triceps and elbows down into the mat. Just to help support and lift and open the upper body, okay? And just see and experience this really great opening for the whole front side of the body. So it's a heart opener, it's a back bend. We're getting into the hip flexors a little bit, thighs. Okay, 2 more breaths. After that second breath, just wiggle the feet forward a little bit, extend your arms up into the air. Go ahead and roll your way down, all the way down, safe landing. Extend your legs out front, reach your arms behind you. Just a little stretch, reaching in opposite directions here, just some lengthening, okay? Now go ahead and bring your arms down by your side, bend your knees again, plant the feet. Okay, we're going to do another pose here. Okay, one name for this pose is Reclining Pigeon, but it also has another yoga name, which is Eye of the Needle pose. So your right foot is going to stay right where it is. Pick up your left foot, cross your left ankle over right thigh, just like you're sitting and you just crossed your leg. Okay? Even flex the left foot. Now we're going for a hip opener. This should affect the left side of the body. Pick up your right foot, draw your legs toward your chest. You're going to thread the needle. Your left arm is the thread, and just go ahead and slide it through the eye of the needle there. Hold on to your right shin or right hamstrings, and just gently hug the legs inward. Again, you can kind of create the sensation you desire here. The closer that the legs are to your chest, perhaps more sensation in that left side. Okay? Then you can soften that. Okay? Your right foot's still free, so you can even flex, point, circle. Okay? The right foot. Okay? That's it. Some deep breaths, especially if you're deciding to create some deep sensation for some release and opening in that left hip, because I know for me, that's a tight part of my body, and I like kind of getting in there to release that tension. All righty, one more breath. We're going to go ahead and set the right foot down, uncross the legs, okay? Just both feet on the floor, knees bent, just rest here for a moment so everything can just realign and relax. So we'll do eye of the needle on the other side, so left foot stays where it is. Let's cross right ankle over left thigh, flexing the right foot, just to keep, actually it helps to stabilize the joints when you flex your foot like that. Pick up the left foot, draw the legs towards self. Let's thread the needle. So the right arm will go through the eye of the needle. Hold on to the left shin or left hamstring, whatever is more convenient and easier to hold on to. And just draw the legs in. Okay, notice when sensation arises. Deepen it or soften it, or just stay right where you are. Good. So the right foot might be flexed, but the left foot you might flex and point and circle. Just to get into that ankle joint a little bit. Good. Deep breathing. Even imagine that you're sending breath right down into that right hip or wherever you have sensation. 2 more breaths. Okay, let's release, set the left foot down, let's uncross the legs. Rest for a moment. You might even feel your low back and hips kind of relax and settle. And once you have that settling, go ahead and draw both knees into chest. Start to rock forward and back gently. Produce a good breath and a nice exhale to help rock your way up to seated so we can come to boat pose. Okay, so you might lean back so you can easily lift your feet. Here you want to energize the feet. Again, it just helps to stabilize the legs as they're floating in the air. You can flex them, you can point them. I usually hold on to my knees here as a way to help extend the spine, really lifting up. That's accompanied by a breath, with the breath, inhaling to fill up the lungs, exhaling to draw belly in, feeling the abs contract there. You can hold on to the legs, you can release the legs. Let's move from here, breathing in as if you're floating up into the air. Exhale, maybe cross legs as you're able, hands in front to hop or step back into plank pose. You can also just lean to the side, uncross the legs, kind of crawl and step back until you're in plank pose. Draw that straight line. Perhaps still feel the core connection, belly button pulling up towards spine. Then just take a shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. Once we're here, breathing in, you're going to exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet here in forward fold. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, fold, releasing, melting. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders there at the end. Then your weight shift into your heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come all the way up. Good stretch here at the top. Exhale, arms come down to your side. Good. Feel free to shake this out. Okay? All the way down the body. Okay? Even down to the legs and feet. And even take a moment after you've done kind of the whole body and return back to your shoulders. And some circles here. Just going to roll the shoulders back a few times. Even exaggerate that, where you might feel like you're lifting your shoulders up towards your earlobes and then pull them back to the back of the room where you feel an engagement in your back. Drop them down, bring them forward. Okay, so some exaggerated motions. Do them backward a couple times and then forward, same thing, up towards earlobes. You might even round the back as you bring those shoulders forward, drop them, pull them back. Okay, and then shake that loose. Okay, alrighty, if you have a block, go ahead and grab a block. Okay, you're going to place the block between the thighs here, just up above the knees. Give them a little squeeze. Okay. This is helping us to hug to center, finding balance. Okay. And we're going to take chair pose, and then we're going to twist the chair. Together, let's inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, take chair pose, high seat or a low seat or somewhere in between. And then go ahead and bring hands to heart center. Just hold here for a moment. Okay, before we move, another reason why we're holding onto the block, yes, it helps us to maintain a center connection, hugging into center line. But as we get into the twist, the block is going to help us to stabilize the lower half of the body. We're going to keep this section from the waistline down to the feet right where they are. When we twist, it's just the upper body, just the torso. Here we go. Breathe in, lengthening through spine. Exhale, pull belly in, and a twist to your right. Okay? It could be a mild rotation. You don't have to twist too far. Okay? I know my body isn't really built to do that anymore. To really revolve or twist too much, okay? But if you've got the flexibility and the hips are allowing it and your back feels fine, yeah, then you might twist a little bit more, you might be a little bit lower. Yes, your left elbow might be touching that right knee or outer thigh. Excellent, okay? And your hips are nicely aligned. Breathing in right where you are. Exhale, unwind. Place your hands on your thighs. Start to feel that realignment of the body coming out of that twist. Press into thighs so you can stand up tall. Then reach your arms up into the air, going right away to the other side. So take chair pose, bring hands to heart, high seat or low seat or somewhere in between. Feel rooted and connected to the ground. Get a good hold of the block. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, draw belly in, squeeze the block more, and a twist to your left. Same thing, mild twist. It might feel different on this side. Maybe you don't have the same flexibility on this side as you do on the other side. So that's something just to be aware of, pay attention to, and accommodate if need be. Nice. Yes, you might be low enough where your right elbow is touching or just maybe even hooked on the outside of the left knee or thigh. Feel lengthening in the spine. There's a sensation of sitting back behind you, but also feel like you're shooting forward through the crown of your head. Breathe in. Good. Exhale, unwind. Hands on thighs, everything's unwinding. Go ahead and grab your block, slide down to a forward fold and just place the block on the floor. We're done with that. We're going to flow from here. Inhale, re-extend your spine, long torso. Exhale, fold and bend, hands to the mat. Walk, step, or hop both feet back, plank pose. Come down as you'd like, Chaturanga Dandasana, or any variation of a flow. Okay. Meeting together in downward facing dog. Whenever you're ready, and inhale to extend right leg up behind you. A quick bend and twist. Bend the knee, lift the knee. There's our twist and hip opener. Unwind it now, stepping through, right foot to the top of the mat. There it is. Left heel turns to the floor. Rooted back into that foot, nicely balanced. Long spine when you're ready. Good. Rising up, warrior one. Exhale, opening to warrior two. So just flowing through there. Make some adjustments with the feet if you need to. Here we go. Side angle, reaching out. Angled upper body. Rotate the arms. Staying high or low. All right, now with the left hand, reaching up, touch the ceiling, inhale. Exhale, bring left hand down behind you to low back like we did earlier. Now here's something else you may want to try, is if you're able, this left hand, if it reaches, I have to lift up to do this, kind of like you're sliding on a belt, okay, so the hand comes all the way through and it's touching perhaps the right hip or thigh. Maybe you can even hold on to the thigh. Okay, or just fingers in that general direction, and then just kind of go back down if you had to lift up. Okay, so just a little bit closer to the right hip with that left hand. There you go. And as best as you can, without forcing it, can you roll that left shoulder back? Yes, just opening up through the chest a little bit more, and that might even help you actually touch and grab the thigh. Okay, because you move the shoulder back. giving a little bit more length in the arm. Good. Let's release. Inhale, re-extend left hand up into the air, nice reopening. Exhale, turn, fold, hands to the mat. We'll step back. Here's plank. Bend elbows, squeeze them in towards ribs. If you are coming down to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, extend the left leg up into the sky, bend and twist open. There it is. We'll unwind it here so you can step left foot up to the top of the mat. A nice light landing if possible. Right heel turns to the floor, shifting weight back, outside edge of that back foot into the ground. You're good. Rising up, warrior one. Exhale, opening to your warrior two, adjusting. Maybe the legs. You've created a deeper lunge. Here comes our side angle. Reach out, rotate here, reach high, reach low. Okay, nice opening through the front body. We're inhaling to reach a little higher. Exhale, bring right hand down behind you. It's fine just to place it on low back or even right hip. But then maybe if you're able, reaching all the way around from behind and touch or even hold onto left thigh. To make the arm feel longer, can you roll that right shoulder back? Yes. And it might just allow, oh yes, I can actually touch the hip here now. Good opening up through the front body as well. A couple more breaths. Nice lunge. Keep breathing. All right, let's release that right arm so we can inhale and extend it up into the air, right hand. Good. Exhale, turn, fold, hands to the mat. Here we go. Slide left foot back. There's plank. Come on down if you like. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. As you inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Holding for a moment in your downward facing. And once again, we're going to bring knees to the floor. So you're just on hands and knees here for a moment. We're going to sit back into hero, but first, before you do hero, take the knees just a little wider, maybe just a little wider than your hips, not too much. Then just sit back. Your toes can touch behind you, that's fine. Okay, and just sit back. Okay, because we're going to do something kind of unconventional. Okay, I'm just going to move this a little bit here. So the knees are wide. It's okay if the toes are touching. So we're sitting like so. Okay, go ahead and follow me, or just watch me at first, and then just mimic what I'm doing. So I'm just going to actually sit off to my right, lean off to the right, so I can extend my left leg out, but then move over to my left leg, like I'm doing the splits here, and this right. So I'm kind of sitting on the inside, okay? So the right foot, you get this kind of frog leg position, okay? If this doesn't feel great at all on your right hip, okay, it's fine just to extend that leg, okay? Or maybe there's just some maneuvering, maybe just kind of kick the foot out or even bring it in, okay? So as that leg is doing its thing, you can always change this if you need to, okay? We're going to pay attention to this left leg that's extended. Maybe hands on the floor, propped up on fingertips. Inhale, get some lift. Exhale, start to hinge or fold out towards that left leg. You're not needed. You don't have to go all the way down, just until you feel, oh, there's a stretch. Feeling that. Okay, so the leg can remain straight. Feel free to bend that left knee a little or a lot. Yes, good. Deep breaths here, because a lot is going on. We got this hamstring stretch with the left leg. Some things are certainly happening with that right hip. Okay? Kind of get this little inner spiral that's happening. Okay? So a different movement of that whole leg in its socket. There might be kind of a stretch quality there too. Let's take 3 more breaths. We're going to start to rise back up, okay, nice and tall. Start leaning more to this left side so we can extend that right leg. So we're kind of here, okay? But you're going to bring the legs together, just come to a staff pose, okay? Hands on the floor by your hips, just pushing down into the mat to help extend spine, roll the shoulders back. Just a breath or two here, just finding realignment, that's all, with this particular pose. Okay? Then just relax, stay there for a moment, okay? So when we were stretching out this left leg, this right hip was doing its thing. It's rolling inward, okay? So the whole thigh is rolling this side. Now we're gonna do kind of an outer spiral, okay, with that leg, okay? So what we'll do here is bend the knees, okay, and keeping the heels on the floor. Your left foot, okay, as if it was like a boat going underneath the bridge, just send it underneath the bridge, okay? This right leg, okay, I want to mirror you. Okay, this right leg, pick up the foot, bring it in. You're going to pick up the foot and just throw your leg behind your head, okay, with great ease. Okay, you're going to place this foot in the opposite hand, okay. If you're able, maybe bring that foot to the bend of the opposite elbow. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just keep it in your hand. Same with the knee. Just hold it in your hand, or if you can, get it in the bend of the elbow. So you can do one of each, or just some combination. Okay, you might do both, you might do one, okay. Wherever you are, we're going to do our best to sit up tall, and you're going to send your shin up towards ceiling and hug the leg in. Even if you're holding out here like this, we're going up and in, up and in. Again, getting into this leg socket. Okay, so before that leg was kind of spun out backward, okay, going the other way, inner spiral. Okay, we're going in the other direction, essentially. Okay, but maybe more sensation. Okay, so this is not too different. Okay, I would say it's a cousin to reclining pigeon, what we did down here, drawing the leg close to the chest. Okay, this just takes a little bit more effort, okay, since you're sitting up. Okay, okay. There won't be a lot of mobility, but give it some motion, just a little rock. This is actually called rock the cradle. So it's like a babe in arms here. So just rock the baby, okay, and just some movements. Breath, just help loosen up down in that hip area. Okay, a couple more breaths. Okay, and we're going to set this foot down just on top of this other leg if you're able. Okay, if the legs are a little wider, that's fine. If it's more on the shin or calf, that's fine. It'll still work, okay? Or even out on front of you on the floor. If you're able, up here on the thigh, okay? And just resting it here for a moment, okay? If you're able, don't force this because this really does affect the knee. If you're able, bring this foot in closer to this crease, the hip crease right here, okay? If you're forcing it and it's not, and your knee is not responding to it nicely, then soften that. Okay? So this is essentially a half lotus, but just a little bit deeper, okay, by bringing it in. Okay, a couple more breaths. So half lotus, so it's one of the words in our posture. And then let's go ahead and release it. Extend the right leg out. Keep it soft and loose so you can actually massage the leg. Maybe up in the crease, okay? A little massage there, even down through the thigh, hamstring. If your leg is loose, you know, maybe a little massage in the kneecap. Down to the feet, flex, point, circle, and the ankles there, okay? This is where we want flexible ankles for something like this. We need flexible ankles to kind of do things like this too, okay? All right, now we're getting to the other side. So actually, let's do this. We're going to swing around, come back to hands and knees. Take knees wide, toes can touch behind you, and again, sit back to our hero. Again, stretching, lengthening through the tops of the feet here. Okay, then we'll go off to the left side, so we can kick the right leg out, slide out into kind of the splits there, and so we got the other leg affected, yeah? So same thing, adjusting here as you need to. If this doesn't feel quite right, just extend the left leg instead, okay, or adjusting. Sometimes just bending the knee might be a little bit better, okay? But we're focusing on the extended right leg. Hands on the floor, lift, hinge on the exhale. Even a little bit is fine. Even a slight bend in the knee is fine. To help support that, you can even bring like a little cushion or a pillow or a blanket underneath that knee, okay, if you need that padding. There you go. Yep, just like that. That might even help quite a bit. Now that left leg, we got that inner rotation, that inner spiral. Getting our hamstring lengthening and stretch through the right leg. Just a few more breaths. Okay, then we're going to rise up, nicely extended, lean to the right so we can re-extend the left leg right out there. You can bring the legs together, kind of do our little reset. Again, just back to a staff pose, straight legs, flexed feet, hands press into the mat, nice and tall spine, shoulders back. A couple breaths here. Okay, and then you can relax. Okay, soften, let's bend the knees. We're going to create that bridge. Okay, so I think the left foot's going to go underneath the right bridge there. If I'm correct, is this correct? Does this seem like the opposite side? Probably not. Other side? Is that the same side? Sorry. Okay, I'm mirroring. So sorry. So your right foot will go underneath the left leg, yeah? Okay. And the left leg will be on top. There we go. Okay. So actually you're going to hold onto the foot in the hand, or if you can, get it in the bend of the elbow. Knee in the hand or bend of the elbow or some combination. Okay? Holding it out here, just fine. We're sending shin up and then hug in. Sit up tall. Shin up, hug in. Oof. Breath wherever you happen to be in this combination, just some good breathing. Getting into these sensations. We'll rock the cradle a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we're building this pose, Half Bound Lotus Twist. So I think we've done pretty much all the elements, okay, of kind of prepping the body. We're going to start putting the pose together. Let's do our half lotus here by just setting foot down on this thigh. It could be closer to the knee. If you need to open this more, it might be on the shin or calf area. If on top here, it's by the knee or mid-thigh or closer to the crease. Almost like you're doing double pigeon. Okay, or even cow face pose, where that foot's coming up a little closer here. You can, if this knee is lifted, just support it in your hand. Same with the foot. Okay. Couple more breaths. Half lotus position. We took it a little deeper. We'll go ahead and soften. We'll extend that left leg, keep it soft and loose and relaxed so we can kind of give it a little massage, starting from the upper leg at the crease, maybe in the thigh, underneath in the hamstring, and a little massage in the kneecap area, even down to the shin, but give your foot some movement there. Okay? And then just sit comfortably and just kind of stretch and move as you'd like as I demonstrate, okay, where this posture is going to go. The strap is going to come in handy, okay, for this one. I know it is for me, okay? I'm actually, do I need to sit on this? No. Okay. So I'll just demonstrate it so everyone here and at home can see this. So it's going to start with that one of the legs kicked back, okay, like we did, okay? So I got my left leg kicked back. Now this right leg, my right leg is going to come in. I'm going to a half lotus here. Okay, so I can bring it here if that's as far as it's going to go. If you're able, you're bringing this foot up onto the thigh, okay, and as close, as if you're going to send your foot kind of behind you, okay, so tightly in if possible, okay. I'm going to already take this strap and wrap it around the foot like so, okay, and take the strap behind me, okay, there. This is going to act as my bind. Okay, but I'll show you in a second. So I'm getting up as nice and tall as I can. My right hand is holding onto the strap. It's just at my low back, but towards my left hip. Ideally, I would be holding onto this foot with my hand. okay? But we're using the strap to do that instead, okay? So that's the bind, okay? Here comes the twist. So I'm going to place my left hand on my right knee, nice and tall, rotate to the right. There's my twist. Naturally, the head would go this direction, but part of this pose is actually turning the head in the opposite direction. So this is the posture. Here's one little caveat. The hand is force flexed, like so. Rather than just kind of having the hand here, you're going to flip the hand around. It actually slides under this knee. It's kind of trapped right there. Okay? This is the pose. Half bound lotus twist. And then you try to get out of it. Okay. So I'll give you some variations of this particular pose, okay? Alrighty. Grab your strap, because you might want to use that, okay? I'll try to mirror you, okay? So I'm going to take your right leg, if you can, kick it back, okay? And have that left leg extended. If this isn't going to work with this leg, just extend it, okay? Now, the left leg, just going to bend the knee. You can just bring the foot to this inner portion right there. You can even wrap the strap around it. But if you're able, you're going to bring this foot up into your lap. Okay, if it doesn't go there, keep it here. Wherever it is, get the strap wrapped around the foot. Okay, your belt or jump rope, whatever you've got. Okay, so it's off to the right side of the room there. Long ends, so you can take it behind you. Okay, behind you. There. Okay, and that's going to be our bind. Okay. So you can already take this bind. So your your left hand will come behind you. Okay, I'm just holding onto the strap. It might be at mid-back, okay, or over towards your right hip. Again, ideally, or for the pose, the picture pose would be you'd be holding onto your foot, okay, if your foot happened to be up on the lap. You guys got me? Okay. Holds in place. Okay. Maybe right hand in front if you're able here, just to help get nice and tall. A breath in, exhale, start twisting to your left. Okay. Even this hand can just kind of brace itself just here on the knee. Okay. Twisting, but then you're going to turn your head in the opposite direction. Okay. Now this hand that's on the knee, you can stay just like that, or give it a force flex. Okay. Fingers are going to point back towards the leg. If you can lift that leg, get the fingers underneath. That feels good. Yeah, nice and tall, little twist of the head in the opposite direction. Here we are, we've made it. Half bound lotus twist. Very simple, easy yoga pose. 2 more breaths. Now what's kind of fascinating, I think, about a pose like this, because there's so many binds and twists and, things compressed here, I think the fun part, the learning part of this is actually getting out of the pose, paying attention to what it feels like to get out of situations like this. So you might start with, unwinding the head and neck. Get that hand free from out underneath the leg. Release that bind, releasing the strap, free up that arm. Okay? Even release that strap from the foot. Get that foot out. Maybe extend. Let's get that right leg extended outward and just free up the body again. Even shake some of that tension away. Okay? Okay. Half bound lotus twist. Ready for the other side. Okay? So we're going to kick the left leg back. Again, if that doesn't work for that inner spiral, keep the leg extended. Okay? We're going to bend the right knee, bring this foot in. You can stay on the floor, on the inner leg, or up onto the thigh there. Either way, you're going to get the strap wrapped around the foot. Send the strap around the body. Okay? See if I can get that foot up there. Okay. And even holding on to the strap, a little pull on it will keep the foot in place up there too. So we go for that bind. So your right arm's behind you, holding onto the strap, maybe at mid-back or towards the left hip, or holding on to the foot if you can reach. To make it reach, actually your twist would help you reach it, because you're twisting to your right, which makes the arm a little bit longer, so you might be able to actually get your hand closer to that foot there. Okay? So the left hand will just come around, holding on to the right knee. I'm trying to be opposite here. Nice and tall. We're twisting to the right, but then turn your head to the left. Okay? It creates, if you just looking at the pose, you probably can't really feel it, but when I look at the pose, it's actually quite symmetrical looking. There's just this beautiful kind of zigzag line that kind of goes right through, and it just crosses the center of the body quite nicely. Yeah, that force flex hand if you want, fingers pointing towards the knee, and even getting that hand underneath the knee for the final touch. 3 more breaths. Feeling the binds, this twist. Then slowly starting to come out of the pose so you can experience the freedom, the release of the body from this situation. Okay, freeing of the head and neck. Okay, freeing of this left hand and the right arm. Okay, let's get this strap out of the way. Okay, extending the right leg and then the left leg. So let's return to an outer rotation. Shake things loose, okay? We'll go ahead and we're starting to wrap things up, so go ahead and sit in the center of your mat. Go ahead and roll onto your back. Draw knees in here. Of course, any movement that might feel good. Okay, and a nice massage for the back and hips after being in those kind of awkward leg postures and twisting and hip openings. Okay? And some freedom in the feet, so flex and point, some circles in the feet. Good. Maybe just a quick happy baby pose, just taking the legs wide, kicking feet up, grabbing hold of the soles of the feet, gently pressing down. We're not going to be here long, okay, because I want to give you some time to rest. So a little stretch in the hips. Movement here is appropriate, so you might even rock left and right a couple times. Okay. Let's press the soles of the feet together and then set the feet down onto the floor so we're in a reclining cobbler's pose, and just a nice bit of release of the body here. A couple more breaths. We'll add one more pose. And that'll be a spinal twist. So whenever you're ready, bring the knees up and together, hug the knees in towards chest. We'll send the knees over to the left side, then extend your right arm off to the right side. Settle in, relax for a few breaths. This is where it's certainly appropriate to take kind of deeper, even more audible breaths. That sigh with an exhale is quite nice because it's that sigh. That really does help us to relax. Whenever you're ready, just bring the knees back up to center with a brief pause so that there's a realignment and recentering here for a few seconds. And then gently take knees down to the right. Left arm extends to the left. And when you feel complete, you can just bring the knees back up to center, perhaps another little hug. And then go ahead and extend your legs straight out in front of you on the floor, arms resting down by your side, just settling into Shavasana. Certainly welcome to use props here to help support your body. Since you have maybe you have something soft like a blanket or pillow, use that. Feeling the body completely relax. Settling in. Remain here in stillness, noticing your breath, just contemplating your practice today, having created a yoga pose, building up to that posture, just moving along some stepping stones perhaps, all the components that help us reach that intended goal. Maybe that's something, bless you, maybe that's something that you do or like to enhance in your own life. You start at one place, that foundation, that resource, that home base, and start taking that momentum forward, working, progressing, achieving, eventually reaching that final goal or destination. From here, take 5 slow, deep breaths. As you're breathing, just feeling movement begin to return to your body. It might be quite subtle at first. This movement begins to return, and sometime after your 5th breath, slowly and carefully roll onto either side of your body into a nurturing pose, or feel free just to stay in Shavasana, just lying on your back, for another 3 to 5 breaths. When you're ready, still moving as slowly as possible. If you're lying on your side, carefully press and lift yourself up, coming to a seated position. If you're still on your back, slowly roll to your side, even a brief pause there, then rise here. Once you're in seated, just feel the nicely extended spine, sitting up tall and proud. Nice relaxed shoulders and arms. Your hands can rest in your lap, or you can bring hands to heart center. Wherever you are, just taking another full breath in, fill up your heart space. Exhale. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow saying, Namaste.